Like, he's like, where are you from? Are you Nigerian? Are you South African? Like, are you from Kenya? Where are you from? And I was like, oh, I'm from America. And he's like, Latin America? They do not believe I'm American. Being a person of color, being black here in Ethiopia and in Peace Corps has just kind of going to show me how misrepresented we are, or how underrepresented we are. Many people that I meet here, that I run into, like they do not believe I'm American. I've had conversations with some of my teachers. They'll ask me, oh, so where are you from? And I'd say, oh, I'm American. And they just kind of like, you know? And I'm like, yeah, like Obama, just like Obama, Black American. And they kind of laugh, like they understand. But then they say, but Obama's dad is from Kenya, so where's your dad from? And I'm just like, he's from America. He's like, well, how did he get to America? And I'm just like, slavery? Like, and they don't know the history and the struggle of African Americans. There are many Ethiopians, of course, who know about the history, who know about slavery, but they tend to be more educated. The more rural you go, the less likely they are to know. And because I knew that I would get some people really doubting the fact that I was American and doubting that I was a real Peace Corps volunteer because I wasn't white, I was worried about how that would affect my service. Like, would people respect me less? Would they not take my ideas as seriously? Would they just look at me and think like I'm, how could I help because I'm black just like them? And I was just worried about how that would work out. There's definitely differences between the way I'm treated and my white fellow Peace Corps volunteers are treated, but it's nothing too drastic. Okay, I don't get the foreigner treatment. I don't get to skip the lines in the bank. I don't get everyone inviting me all over to the house every day. I don't get kids coming up to me on the street 24/7, trying to give me a handshake or give me a hug. And you might say those are some drawbacks of it, but there's also the pros. Like, I don't get kids coming up to me every single day trying to give me fist bumps or a hug, because them kids got some snotty hands. I walk with my site mates, and both of my site mates are white volunteers. I walk with them through town, and kids will literally run up to them and say their name and ask for things and try to touch them. And I just keep walking. Like, they don't notice me at all. So some might say that's a drawback. I honestly really enjoy it. You blend in. And that's what I was kind of looking forward to. I wanted to be here in a sea of beautiful black faces, and I am, and I'm just another black face amongst the black faces. So I blend in, and I actually really like it. I can go to the market without getting harassed too much. I can walk around town. If I throw a scarf over my head, people don't even recognize me. It's like people know I'm a foreigner. They know I'm American, and I still get Ferengi, you. But they have to look at me really close and be like, oh, wait, is that? Yeah, that's her. And then come after me. Whereas with like white volunteers, like they just stick out 24/7, like all the time. Some people may look at it as a negative, but I kind of look at it as a positive. The fact that I can just blend in and go under the radar. I think many other volunteers, especially the white volunteers, the white female volunteers, they're just on display 24/7. Like no matter what they do, they can't hide, And I feel like at least I have the opportunity to hide. I had another black volunteer, like she had been in Ethiopia longer than me, tell me that you may not get the French treatment. Sometimes you may not even be really respected or looked up to because initially they see you just as one of them and that they don't think you could really offer change. But because you are black, because you are a black American, and you look familiar to them, you look like their mother, their brother, their sister, their daughter. A lot of people in the country will be a lot quicker to warm up to you. They'll be a lot quicker to make friends with you, to trust in you, to share their lives with you. And in turn, that helps them to get to know you more, and it helps them to get to know you better and to learn about how serious you are, to learn about the work you came to do, and to see how you can really offer change. And the trust that they build with you and the relationships you build with them really paves the way for you to do great things with your Peace Corps service.
Being a person of color in Ethiopia, it's different because I do kind of have to explain that I am American. Like, I'm not white, I'm not black, but I am American. And also, people here love Indians, so they know all about India. They watch Bollywood movies. They always ask me about it. So It's been interesting. Like, it's a good, unique experience being able to share both an American culture and an Indian culture with people in Ethiopia. And yeah, people ask me, like, someone the other day was like, "You, Arab girl with glasses." I'm like, that's me, I guess.
So, I'm very lucky because I straddle the line between white and like other, I guess, right?
You
And
black, you know, you about to say it.
I got a little bit in me, you know. The point is that like, besides the fact that I'm Latino, which gives me some kind of like insight into all particular parties, I guess. I don't know, maybe I'm thinking too much about it. But the fact that I'm Cuban in particular, there was an army of 20,000 Cubans that came to Ethiopia to fight for Ethiopia. And so when I talk to my professors, when I talk to the director, when I talk to like the mayors, when I talk to everybody, all these people are like old-time political party members from the ruling party. And they all know about the Cuban struggle. So it's like they just, as soon as I tell them I'm Cuban, it's like, you're awesome. Like, we know about Cuba, Havana, Havana, Fidel Castro. Thank you, thank you. Cubans are awesome, you know. So it's just like, I don't know. I have literally had, with the minor exception of a incident in Budajira, and there's another small incident in Addis Ababa, I had no issues on my side at all. My side has been fantastic. They love me, and they love me even more than I'm Cuban.
It's taken people quite a while to understand that there is a such thing as Black America. I would walk the streets, I would call Nigerian, Sudanese, Ethiopian. Obviously, I'm none of those things. And when I would express that to these people, to certain people, it'll actually sometimes turn into an argument. I had one gentleman, as a matter of fact, he said, "I'm Ethiopian." And I had my friends with me, and I was there, and I'm saying, "No, I'm not Ethiopian, actually. You know, I'm American. I grew up in America." He was just very belligerent. I was like, "No, you're Ethiopian. You're not America. You're Ethiopian. You're Ethiopian." And, you know, it gets frustrating. One of the good things that I can appreciate about our white volunteers, that whenever I do encounter a situation like that, they'll even take the time to explain, listen, he is Black American, he is Peace Corps, he does work here, and he does do the same thing that I do. And I know some people will say, well, it's not a big deal, it's not an issue. One of the reasons why it hurts so much is because you want people to recognize the fact and understand that you've sacrificed a lot to come here. So if you strip the fact that I am American, then you might as well strip the volunteer part. They go hand in hand. I'm not an Ethiopian here volunteering in Ethiopia. So this is what I explain to a lot of people, and I tell them. So again, it's not all bad, you know. It's like I said, it's an opportunity to share culture, teach them, and also learn why they don't recognize Black America. You know, this part of Africa specifically, they don't even understand the history of slavery. A lot of them are shocked when you tell them about, you know, the slave trade and slavery and Jim Crow laws and all of this stuff and the drug war and why young Black men are being killed. They're like, why? They don't understand the history behind it all.
So, being Latina in Ethiopia, I am often told that I have a Habesha face, which is awesome because I feel like I can fit in, or that I'm Arab, which is cool because I'm familiar with that, and or they call me white, and I like to correct them and say that I am not white, I'm actually Latina, I am brown, and so that's that on being Latina. I don't really run into difficulties, but it is a good opportunity to like teach people about Latinos and there being different races within the United States. So that's always fun that I can talk about my culture, talk about speaking Spanish. They're very intrigued because they usually don't know a lot of people that speak Spanish.
Beto, you might remember me from such films as Bridget and Beto, our relationship movie. But this is about me being Mexican and being in Ethiopia. So it's always usually fine, I must say. It's never like any harassment because of it or anything. Probably the only thing I ever feel, if anything, is annoyance at the fact that people just assume English is my first language and that I'm white and that I'm from the US and that Mexico's part of the United States whenever I try to explain to them. And this is after explaining multiple times to them that we're a separate sovereign country, you know, even though we do have influences of the United States like a lot of other countries do. But it does become annoying that it's hard for them to understand my identity isn't exactly just like somebody else's would be. I mean, it never leads to any other kind of harassment or anything, but that's probably my small annoyance.
So, there's good, there's bad, there's highs and the low or the bad part of it, the downside, is being mistaken for an Ethiopian woman. And that is because they aren't really treated very well. Some women, some Ethiopian women are not treated very well. We are out and about. I'll just tell you this. So, we're at the university, and we were going inside. Those with the PCB was not African American, and we both we had our backpacks on, going into the university, into the entrance, together, side by side. I believe we were even talking, and the guards let him by, and they stopped me. And I'm like, okay, what's different? Okay, he is male, he is tall, but he's also white, and I'm black, and so maybe they thought I was Ethiopian, and because he obviously is different, and he's obviously a foreigner, he gets that pass, and he can go on through, but I get searched. So that's the second part.
So, being black in Ethiopia, okay, at first I thought it was pretty cool just because everybody thought I was Habesha, so I could just kind of blend in. I didn't have to deal with like the whole harassment thing so much, and I have like a lot of just sort of being very uncomfortable here, so being able to blend in, I really enjoyed that. But I would say that now, having lived here a little bit longer, I'm noticing a lot of things that are really, really annoying. For example, when I'm with my white friends and we go to the bank and people are like jumping out of the way to try to help them and everything, and they just kind of like move me aside and talk directly to them, and it's just like, okay. And how in other situations, even if I'm just by myself, I mean, women here in general are not treated well, and because I look like a Habesha woman, a lot of times I'll get that same treatment and just sort of be like overlooked, ignored, kind of shoved out of the way. Also, I've noticed that being at site, when I first moved there, people were very welcoming and very friendly, but they did not make much of an effort to like invite me places or like try to help me out. I mean, I bought almost all my furniture by myself. I did those things by myself, mostly because I think people just looked at me, and even if they knew I was Frenchie, it wasn't the same. You know, I could walk, like, it's a 15-minute walk about from my house to the center of town. I could buy something heavy as shit and lug it all the way back to my house, passing by all sorts of people who know me or who don't even know me, and not a single person will offer to help me carry it. And it's just like, I don't know, that kind of treatment, it gets old, and especially when I see the comparison between how I'm treated and then how maybe my other friends are treated. And it's just based on skin color. Things like that get really, really old and make me, I mean, almost miss the treatment I got. I got treated better in the States than I do here, and that's just weird. But it's the truth.
Alright, well, that's all I have for you guys today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.